fantasy comedy, or as I like to call it, middle-aged man learns valuable lesson through the means of a mystical intervention. Core. These movies are where the main character, often a middle-aged man, is taking something in their life for granted, or overlooking something really important. That's where a mystical force, sometimes God, sometimes Christopher Walken, intervenes to either take something away from them or sort of curse them in a way and teach them a valuable lesson. Arguably the most popular in this genre is Click.
The most powerful device ever created is now in the hands of one man.
Cool. God, I love Click. A classic tale where Adam Sandler is ignoring his family, only really paying attention to work and getting farther in his career over basically anything. And really anything that comes in between him and advancing just feels like an inconvenience. That's when he stumbles into Bed Bath & Beyond one night, where he finds a mystical Christopher Walken in the back, who hands him a remote that can control his reality.
That remote controls your universe.
Yeah, but what controls my dance skills?
We got the phone. You gotta have that phone.
Then obviously he uses it for his own selfish purposes at first, speeding through boring dinners and stuff like that. And then in the end, he speeds up time too much and realizes that the most important thing all along was just spending time with his family. Aww. So sweet. I always think of Click as one of the stock, wacky Adam Sandler movies, and then I rewatch it and remember how, heartfelt and just sad it is, man. I can't watch it without getting kind of existential and just depressed at the end.
Grandpa died, Dad. He died a while back now. No, don't say that.
It unironically gets some tears out of me every time I watch. But what movie doesn't get tears out of me is another classic in the genre, Bruce/Evan Almighty.
I am Bruce Almighty. My will be done.
I count these two as the same movie, basically, because for the longest time, I thought they were the same movie. But the first one, Bruce Almighty, is where Bruce, played by Jim Carrey, feels like God is treating him unfairly, and that, the world is just this unfair place. That's when he meets God in the form of Morgan Freeman, who's like, you know what? If you think you could do a better job, here you go. Have my powers. Be God. And Jim Carrey's like, shit, man, okay. I'll be God. This looks easy. Which obviously leads to him using it for selfish purposes at first, and causing the Evan character, played by Steve Carell, to lose his job by messing up on the air.
In other news, the Prime Minister of Sweden visited Washington today, and my tiny little nipples went to France.
Where Bruce takes his place and sort of gets everything he wants. And obviously he gets a little power hungry, and it's not until God takes the powers away that Bruce realizes that there's problems bigger than his. There's a lot of prayers to be answered in the world, and Bruce is just one dude. The moral of that one was obviously, be grateful for what you have. Don't feel like the world's against you, because yeah, it is, but it's fine. Don't be a baby about it. But in the sequel to that one, Evan Almighty, Evan, played by Steve Carell, actually lands a seat in Congress and moves his family to Virginia.
I am a U.S. congressman!
And then that's when, bam, Morgan Freeman, God in the form of Morgan Freeman, shows up and is like, you ever heard of Noah's Ark? That's just gonna happen to you. I honestly feel like Evan wasn't really doing anything wrong. He was a little too into his job and not into his family, I guess. But this one had more of a biblical aura to it. Basically just retelling the story of Noah's Ark. Grows a beard and becomes friendly to animals, builds a big boat, and then a dam breaks. And he's like, well, everybody, I got a big boat. And then they're all good because he built a boat. And that's the moral of the story. If God tells you to build a boat, you should probably just do it. I wasn't a huge fan of Bruce or Evan Almighty, but I do still feel like they were big staples in this genre. But there were some other ones that kind of flew under the radar a little more, I think. Eddie Murphy also had a lot of these movies. One that always stood out to me was 1,000 Words.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, ribs. Shit!
In this one, Eddie Murphy's character, Jack, is a fast-talking literary agent that just kind of talks his way into any deal. That's until he meets up with this one dude, Dr. Sinja. And while talking to this guy, a magic tree appears in his yard, which basically the leaves on the tree represent how many words Jack has left to say. And when the leaves run out, he dies.
I can die? Or someone could turn you into a coffee table.
Hey, Sinji, you know you're a real funny dude to stand here making jokes while my life is being controlled by this magic tree. How many leaves you think are left on this tree?
1,000?
So what do I got, 1,000 words?
And that one basically ends with Jack using his last 3 words to tell his dead father that he forgives him.
I forgive you.
And then after that, the leaves miraculously appear on the tree again, and he's able to talk again. So obviously, the moral of that one was that Jack talks so much, but he doesn't use his words for the right things, like forgiveness and telling people he loves them. It's so sweet. So sweet.
Starting to see a pattern here?
There's so many more I could talk about. Like Groundhog Day, Stranger Than Fiction, 17 again, Tooth Fairy. These movies were just all over the place between like 2005 and 2013-ish, and now it just feels like they disappeared. Or the good ones, at least. So what happened to them, you might ask? Well, there's a couple factors in there. I think one of the most obvious things that happened is that the actors that really drove this genre, Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy, they're getting older. And because of that, they're all either doing less movies or choosing to do more serious roles these days, which honestly, I don't mind. As far as Adam Sandler, at least, Jim Carrey seems like he's living his best life. Dr. Eggman now, which I never thought I'd see. And honestly, I never see Eddie Murphy anymore, which kind of makes me sad. I miss him. But another big factor that I think honestly plays a huge role is that comedies as a whole have kind of been dying out as far as theatrical releases. A lot more people these days want to see a horror or big action blockbuster when they're paying big bucks to go to the theater. You know, when it's like 12 to 14 bucks for a ticket these days, I'll just wait for the comedies to hit streaming, man. But Ant-Man, gotta see that when it comes out. But I want to see him come back. I love these movies. Something so special about them. I don't know if it's just the actors that I love. There's something about Jim Carrey. You put him in any movie and I will just enjoy the hell out of it. It doesn't have to be a middle-aged dude. Need more women in this genre. Maybe a kid or anything. I love this formula. It's such a it's an easy watch. Adam Sandler, you're a great actor, but quit with the uncut gems and make Click 2. I want to see fantasy comedies come back. On that note, if you liked the video, click that subscribe button and leave a comment of any other movies in this genre you think I missed or that are even bigger staples. Thanks for watching. See ya.